Hi everyone, welcome to Lights, Camera, Action. I'm Allison Howard and your host for tonight's show. Tonight we're going to be interviewing 3 different actors from the Washington D.C. Baltimore area, and we're going to talk to them about different acting projects that each of them are participating in. So let me introduce them now. This is Nick DeTore, Gina Grinkemeyer, and Matthew James Gulbranson. Gulbranson.
Good.
That was great.
Okay.
Okay, so for each of you, thank you so much for coming on and being a part of our show. How did each of you get into acting? You can answer one at a time, obviously.
And feel free to twirl your hair whenever you like, just for good memories.
We were on a short film with him. Yeah. I was on a short film with him.
My assistant.
I was his assistant, and I was ditzy, to say the least.
She's a very good ditz.
Okay. Thanks!
You're welcome.
So, Matt, how did you get into acting?
How did I get into acting? Okay, I guess plays in school, where I first started.
How old were you in your first play?
Oh my gosh, my first play, I must have been about 13 or 14 in high school.
Okay.
And then I did community theater for that. I did, the big play for me was Enemy of the People by Ric Edelman. Played a guy named Billings, got to grow a beard. This is during the Shogun era, so people, hey, it's Richard Chamberlain, and that really gave me a big head. So I love those movies. I love like The Count of Monte Cristo, you know, The Man in the Iron Mask, Three Musketeers. So this is what I want to do for a living. So it's always in my system, being an actor.
Right.
So I get that rush of adrenaline from the first big play I did, Enemy of the People. Then I went to West Point Military Academy, was a cadet, did theater arts guild there, did Shakespeare and a couple goofy plays.
Fantastic.
Joined the Army and did community theater on the side until the Army sent me to West Los Angeles, California for an actual assignment. And one day, lucky me, public affairs comes to me, hey, you want to be in a movie? We need people for American President. I said, oh, okay, sure. So I was a White House military aide in that movie with Annette Bening and Michael Douglas and Michael J. Fox. Rob Reiner directing, and my first big movie.
That was just pure luck.
Yeah, then I started asking questions, how do you get into the union? You know, sweet talk to assistant directors, and they'll give you SAG vouchers. I did one movie after another in LA, like Sergeant Bilko, Mars Attacks, The Eraser, Spy Hard. Albino Alligator was Kevin Spacey as my director, which is really cool. And it was a lot of fun. And I've been doing this as moonlighting for the last 15, 16 years.
Wow.
So I love Mars Attacks.
Yeah, I was like the little Martians and yep, I like that too.
Yeah.
But I got in trouble in Mars Attacks for correcting the uniforms. Like, oh, you can't match an officer's uniform with enlisted pants. You can't do this. This belt's wrong. Because I'm in the Army, right?
Right.
The guy goes, stop it. Tim Burton can't take it anymore. You're messing this movie. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. So I shut up.
Gotcha.
Wow.
It was fun.
So Nick, how did you start?
My talent started with ventriloquism, actually.
Wow.
I was a ventriloquist and did it for several years. In middle school, I was probably 8 when I started. So I started in front of people. I did talent shows and, you know, gong shows, if you guys have heard of those, you know. So I did it in Boy Scouts and that kind of stuff. And I enjoyed, you know, being in front of people. I enjoyed, you know, creating these stories and creating these skits. So that led me to some theater training when I was like a young teen at the Children's Theater Association in Baltimore. And I studied there for a little while, and then I did some Neil Simon plays with them, and then I also did some plays in high school.
Wow.
So I had a little bit of a pause after high school. I didn't do it for a while, and then after several years, you know, doing the college thing, being a bartender by trade, I, you know, kind of had this epiphany come to me, and, you know, I said, what are you doing with your life? What do you want to do with your life? You know, and in my head, I knew what I always wanted to do with my life. So then I did it. And
can I ask one question?
Yeah.
That was a terrible thought. You're a ventriloquist. What a great skill. You could like totally punk somebody. Like you're sitting in a bar, you can just have them say something totally inappropriate to someone gets slapped. Yeah. Have you ever done that? Because I would totally do that if I was you.
No, I haven't done that.
That's a great idea. You should do it.
But yeah.
Try it. You probably like that.
How did you end up, like, when you said you were 8 when you started doing ventriloquism?
Yes.
Did you see somebody performing and doing ventriloquism? Because I can't imagine, like, how many 8-year-olds, you never know, but.
I was an odd child.
You were one of those.
And
yeah.
if you guys have ever heard of Goosebumps.
Yes.
I've never experienced those.
there was a Goosebumps book called like Night of the Living Dummy, and I've always loved horror films and scary stuff and Halloween and all that stuff. So I immediately
like Chucky.
Yeah,
that stuff is freaky. I'm sorry.
So I immediately liked the Night of the Living Dummy, and then I was like, well, what's a dummy? And then I found out what a ventriloquist dummy was, and then I immediately just
latched onto that.
Had to get into that.
Did you ever have a ventriloquist dummy that looked like Chucky?
No, not like Chucky. But I do have 2 dummies. Yeah. So.
Does anybody get kind of freaked out about them
all
the time?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So do you still practice it?
Yeah, I have it on my acting reel. Because
which I've seen.
It's
great.
You saw it?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a skill that I would love to get more involved in. It's something that's kind of never left you.
Right.
It's something that I don't do consistently and perform consistently as a ventriloquist, but
it's a small market.
Right.
Right.
And it's but it's something I would love to just always have part of me.
Of course, absolutely. That's fantastic.
Thanks.
Gina, how did you get your start?
Well, I did those middle school and high school plays, Annie, Sound of Music, but I wasn't really into drama like these guys from youth. I guess where my interest was most peaked was just last year, like May of 2011, when I had the opportunity to work as an extra on Game Change, and that was a game changer in my life.
It's so funny because I say the same thing.
Right.
It
was a recurring extras role, and I met all kinds of people that I
You guys
just
there? Yeah.
loved and networked and learned about the industry in this area, and thought, and it was always something I thought Hollywood people do. It was Hollywood, too, not real or close to my life, and I realized that that's something that I could possibly do, and it's in this area, and there's a demand for it, and there's a need for actors, and
Now, how taken aback were you when you ended up finding out how much stuff is actually filmed around here when you first started? Were you really taken aback by it? Because
yeah, just getting into it, I thought, oh my, and I've learned about everything that's been here that I missed out on, and I thought, wow, look at all that I could have been doing all this time. What have I been doing with my life? I didn't know anything about this. But no, really, it's good timing in my life, too, because I was raising a family. I still am very much busy raising a family, but it's a good time now where I have a little time to start getting into this interest in my life. But so, those missed opportunities were fine because I was very involved with my family, but now I can get a little more involved in this. But yeah, there's a ton out there, and now I'm seeing, wow, there's a lot out there. I got to get on the ball. I got to get skilled at acting and get my name out there and get my face out there, and
this
get
will
some
do
of these
it.
jobs.
Absolutely.
This show will be your career launching pad.
No pressure or anything.
Yeah,
No
really.
pressure. Okay, so when you first started getting into acting and you started auditioning for roles, auditions are very foreign to people that are outside of the business. What is the scariest part about an audition for you? Whoever wants to go first.
Scariest part. Well, I make it fun now. Before I used to be scared. I remember in LA, my first audition, I was actually shaking because I couldn't control my body. What this is ridiculous. But over time, you learn to make fun and just have fun with it and go crazy over the top. And just kind of like surprise whoever's auditioning you. Just turn the tables on them, make them uncomfortable. Not uncomfortable, but they can always tone you down, but they can never bring you up. I've learned that. So go over, be aggressive, be fearless, and have fun. And more often than not, they're just going to do well for you. But if you come in scared, they see that deer in the headlight eyes, and then they see that and they go, oh, sorry, that was nice. Okay, next. And you'll never hear from them again. It's a nightmare. So we all done that. We all went through that. But just have fun with it. Make it like a game. That's my advice to anybody.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally. Don't take it seriously.
That's something that I think a lot of people find to be the most frightening about it, is that you don't necessarily know what they're thinking.
And many times they have a certain thing they're looking for, a certain look, a certain type. And don't take it personally because you may not match up to what they want. So
Exactly.
And then they can go, well, I kind of like that guy for maybe not for this role, but for something down the road, which is exactly why I got in The Pharmacist.
Yes.
I read for the Henchman's War, for some killer, movie, whatever. They liked the audition, but they had me in mind for The Pharmacist, which led me to the movie that we did together.
Right.
So you never know, domino effect could pay off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, scariest part for you guys for auditioning?
For me, not so much scary, because I have gotten into the
Yeah.
mentality of just have fun with it, and if you mess up, oh well, you know, let roll, move on to the next one. You can't dwell on things. You can learn from your mistakes,
Right.
but don't dwell on things. That's just not constructive. So it's not so much scary, but frustrating about auditions is that you only get one chance. 30
Usually.
seconds, 2 minutes, whatever. And you know, for example, a commercial audition, you know you're going to get 20 takes until they get it right. But here you've got one, maybe 2 takes to do it right. And you know, if you rehearsed the script and nailed it at home, and then you mess up there, they didn't know how well you did it at home. So it's just a frustration more than scary, because I enjoy it. I have fun with it.
Yeah, me
And
too.
you got to let things roll, or you would just be a complete basket case in this work.
In this crazy industry.
Yeah.
How about you?
I don't know if I really want to say if there's anything scary that comes to mind. I guess what I can really relate to is that an uncertain feeling, because there's been scripts that I've read or gone to audition for where I personally do not feel that I am right for that role. And I guess it's the uncertainty of going into the audition with that in the back of my mind. But in the front of my mind, I think, you know, I still need to give it my all and do my best. But there have been, you know, so nothing really scary, but, you know, it's more so an uncertainty if I feel that I may not be right for a role, or just that I, you know, something that just doesn't seem like it really fits me. Not personally, but you know, it might be, you know, your look or your age or many factors. There's many factors.
Right, and something you can't control a lot of the time.
Completely out of your control. So, I mean, nothing really scary. I have a lot of fun with it. I do take it extremely seriously. You know, I'm there for a reason to book the job. But, you know, that's...
And you know what, you mentioned uncertainty. There's also uncertainty when you get the script on, are you going to make the right call? I mean, there are different ways to interpret it. How do they want this done? You got to go with your gut. You got to go with your instinct. And you don't know what they're looking for. So there is uncertainty there, too. And that is in your control. So did I make the right call? Did I interpret this the right way or not? And
sometimes what's interesting, though, is that if you do interpret it in a different way than the casting director was hoping to find somebody for, you could change their mind.
Right.
Yeah, a couple of things I
That's true.
learned too is never try to memorize it. What I try to do is I look at the overall situation. Instead of being locked into the words, I know what's going on back and forth. I know the big picture. I just fill in the blanks. I ad lib a lot, keep it more alive. Things will just jump in your mouth and surprise yourself. It makes it more real. And then usually they like that. Most directors like that, producers. That really seems real and natural. Instead of trying to like, oh my God, I missed the word it. And you go, I mean it. And then it's all stupid and jilted and it's just not natural. So don't get wrapped up. Don't try to memorize. Big mistake. Because it's hard in 5 minutes flat. And you put pressure on yourself. Second, don't try to read it verbatim. Just look at the situation and make eye contact and just go. And that usually really works for me anyway. And then except for Paul said, can you like, this is really love your audition, but on the set, you promise not to ad lib so much. Can you like not ad lib? Yeah, I could try not to.
Yeah, I can attempt. So obviously you guys have been on auditions, and hopefully you've been on some recent auditions. Are there any upcoming projects or anything that's you're currently working on or that's going to be coming out soon that we might be able to see on TV or in a magazine? Because I know you do a lot of male modeling.
For myself, I recently did some still imagery for a national PSA for the national parks.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that was a lot of
Which
fun.
monument were you?
I was in Arcadia, was where I was supposed to be, yeah. I've done something for Virginia Tourism recently.
Oh, wow.
That I don't think it's been released yet, but I'm keeping my eyes open to see where
it pops up,
where it happens to land. I've done a few other ads, some a pharmaceutical ad. I've done some hotel ads. I'm hoping to do some work with a large company in the future that
Keep your fingers crossed for
I'm
you.
hoping to work with.
Yeah.
And then I've, commercial-wise, I'm in several regional commercials right now.
Great.
The end of last year, I did a spot for Car Biz with Ray Rice from the Ravens.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then I've done spots up in New Jersey, Philly, you know. So.
Yeah, I know that you do travel a lot
Yes.
for the work that you do. Now, do you find that you end up getting more like print jobs either in Philadelphia or New York than you might get around here?
You know,
Or is it like a mix?
It's a mix, and what it is, it really is a mix with all, because I don't really narrow myself just as you know, a film actor or a TV actor. Like I like to work all markets.
You're not a one-trick pony?
No, not at all. And it's weird because, you know, some weeks I'll feel like I'm in Philadelphia a lot, and then the next week I'll feel like I'm in D.C. a lot, you know, the D.C. area, or, you know, another week I feel like I might be in New Jersey or New York a lot. So it really depends. It fluctuates, so.
That's great.
Thanks.
Any upcoming projects or anything that you've been in recently for Gina or Matt?
I'm still waiting to see a commercial for a national internet company that I filmed in February. To see that, but
isn't it crazy how long it takes sometimes
it takes
post-production?
a long time. And still haven't seen the check either.
Oh.
I know that takes a long time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, and I've just come off of a very busy couple of weeks of doing things. So I did 2 shows for cable channel, the reenactment shows, and those really interesting, fun shoots, and it was a really very featured role, so I'm really excited about that. I got to play a 54-year-old drug addict, so
Nice.
the makeup people really did a good job. It was,
That's such a stretch for you.
It was, I know, in a lot
So
of
they
ways.
made you, what, like 25 years older?
Yeah, yeah.
Not the
25 years older?
drug
No,
part, just
less.
the age.
You should have taken the
Or
compliment.
more. Oh, my math. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, 30. They had to add 30 years.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There we
Sorry.
go.
I'm going to put down doing drugs on my resume too. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was a really fun, challenging role too. Physically very
bet.
challenging because I was playing a victim that was murdered, brutally murdered. But so it was a really good, juicy role. It was interesting shoot, very fun and exciting, and just really neat to see the transformation with the makeup and everything.
It'll disturb
So,
your mother, I'm sure.
yeah.
It's a tough one.
So,
Well, you know, I retired from the Army 2 years ago in February 2010, and since I retired, I've been really, really busy. I've probably done like 25 or 30 projects.
Wow.
Movies, TV shows. I did one national commercial, which you can see online now. It's pretty funny. It's called Fiscal Fidelity, where I'm having a breakup scene with my mistress, who's actually a pile of money because I have a spending habit. It's all about Congress spending too much money, raising the national debt ceiling. So a good commercial. You can see me in Malice right now online on YouTube and Blip as well. I play a gardening guy named Jed Spry, so I'm pretty spry for a white guy. You living in the noise house?
Our mom inherited it. Our home now.
The creepy one?
There's weird stuff here, Alice, right? Around this house?
Alice, we need you. And there's Ghost Kid. Ghost Kid's for real? Dad was worried. What wasn't he telling us? Mom's gone.
You stay here.
You know something. You've always known.
I haven't seen shit like that in 30-some years.
No. Dad's gone. What? Where's my sister?
What were you doing there alone with a machine gun?
Am I now a terrorist?
Badass, Alice.
It's not every day one goes down the rabbit hole. You're crazy.
I play guitar and I drink and I smoke. It's a fun role. But I'm connected to the mother in the plot, so I kind of have a history with her. She moves back to her hometown where she's kind of a haunted house situation, and I'm kind of like privy to why the house is haunted. We had experience as kids together, so it's a really good movie. It's going to be a good movie. It's a good web series right now, and it's really well written, and it's done by Philip Cook of Eagle Films. He's a genius in the area. I'm very lucky that I actually checked Craigslist for an audition. He advertised on Craigslist for this show.
Wow.
But his stuff's been on HBO and Sci-Fi and Cinemax, his first 3 movies. He's from Falls Church. He wrote it, directed it, shot it. lighting, sound, special effects are amazing, low budget. But check it out, Malice, the web series, you'll be shocked how good it is. Really talented. So I'm happy to be part of that. And this is really fun. I did like a homeless guy. I didn't do a homeless guy, that'd be really wrong. Sorry. I played a homeless guy in this movie called Mysterious Prison with the guy, David Ashton. He actually uses actors, makes us homeless, sends us to homeless shelters. It's like a docu-drama. He uses homeless people, makes them actors, and we all mix together. So I had my story, and it's pretty close to home. I could be homeless, so I was telling my secrets, how you get free food and how you know, you're a little lonely. You find a young lady to spend the evening with, and then she gets pissed off at me because I'm more interested in her shower and her food than her. But this is what you have to do to survive as a homeless person. So I shared all my tricks, and I grew the beard and the hair. And it's called Mysterious Prison. It should be a really good movie. Pretty interesting. So I actually had to go to Soup Kitchen here in D.C., get the free food and all that, and then people said, well, you had hard luck, and I get into your character, and I had hard luck, and here I am getting a bologna sandwich, and soup, or chili, which is pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, I should go back there Sunday. They have free haircuts every week.
Oh, really?
It's good to know. But that's kind of a fun project, just for a day.
Yeah. It sounds like you guys have played a variety of roles. Now, is there any role that you would like to play that you haven't yet played?
Don Juan, yeah.
Don Juan?
I played killers, I played serial killers, I played evil husbands, I played nice pharmacists, and kind of like, the gardener guy. I mean, it's a big variety for me. So
yeah.
I've never done a romantic type movie yet. That'd be kind of fun. Like, maybe a timepiece movie, or not timepiece, not about watches, but like a period piece. That'd be kind of interesting for me. Go back and do the costumes and,
A period piece, I think, would be so great just because of the costumes.
And the history of it all.
Yes, absolutely. How about you guys? Any roles that you guys would like to play that you haven't played yet?
I've played the angry ex-wife.
I have a couple of those.
Student film, and that was cool. I got to yell and scream and cry and.
Yeah. Is there anything that you haven't played yet?
I think I would like to try comedy because I think it might suit my kind of wacky personality.
I enjoy that.
Yeah. Comedy's great.
And your personality too, but it is fun. Comedy's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, comedy's good. I want to play lots of roles, so I don't want to say one thing and limit myself to that. But one project I would love to take part in would be, and this might sound corny or crazy, but I would love to be in a horror film.
Yes.
I would. I've always loved horror films. I love Halloween. So that's something that, I've always wanted to be a part of. And,
would you any part in a horror movie, or would you want to be the killer or the victim?
Or
the ventriloquist doll? You never know.
You never know.
I think that the Norman Bates character for him would be perfect. Check it in.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to write a screenplay now.
Let me know.
I'll let you know.
I'm around.
No, but seriously, in a horror film, which part?
Ted Bundy. I see that.
Straight-laced police officer.
No,
he's played a police officer.
Oh.
Yeah, I really, it's always fun to be the guy that saves the day.
Of course.
So I mean, I can't say that wouldn't be great, but it might be fun to be the bad guy too. So I'm really not limiting myself to options as to what I'd want to play, to be honest.
You'll just do them all.
I'd like to. So
you will. Eventually. Now, speaking of not limiting ourselves, and if we, for instance, wanted to write a screenplay, are there any facets of filmmaking that you guys would like to explore other than acting?
I think writing for me, because I actually worked on a script called Chupacabra. I was like the military advisor on it. Since it was written by people in England, they had a lot of our jargon, our dialect wrong, so I did a lot of rewriting, correcting, and I fixed the military terminology, and I made some characters a little more interesting.
Right.
And I thought that's kind of fun, creating stuff out of nothing and maybe tweaking it or adding to it, make it more alive, more concrete, better imagery for the audience.
Absolutely.
Instead of shallow characters, make it more deep or whatever, more complex.
Right.
Like you could play like the good guy in the murder movie, but you're really the killer, like twists like that. The dark twist to surprise the audience. I think it's fun to take the obvious and make it unexpected.
Yeah,
so.
that's interesting.
So writing may be kind of fun.
So writing, any other facet of film you'd like to try?
I'd like to try a little of everything just to get a better understanding of it from every angle. You know, the writing would be fascinating. I've held the boom mic and done little stuff like that, you know, helped haul the equipment, crew stuff, PA stuff maybe. Casting would be really neat to see what all different people come through and what they do with the same lines or scripts.
And what they're willing to do for the part. That would be the most interesting.
So yeah, everything. Maybe start with casting.
Start with casting. How about you, Nick?
I would have to say, I think it'd be kind of cool to looking through the lens of a camera, being the camera guy. Yeah. Yeah, that's the term I was looking for.
There you go.
So, yeah, I mean, I love acting, so that's where my passion is. So that's where I'm staying focused.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I always think that it's interesting to just try things.
Right, right. Yeah,
and also, having made so many things, you see the other jobs that people have, but only the audience sees the people that are on screen.
That's true.
But for every person that's on screen, there are 3 people, 4 people behind the set just making it happen, which I think is quite fascinating.
Yeah, it's an army of effort, like a big logistical effort to make a movie. It is pretty
It's
incredible.
surreal.
Yeah.
I know. And
it's surreal.
And like we were saying with post-production, after the film is even made, post-production takes...
I don't know how they do the editing. How can you decide when and who and what? It'd be so amazingly hard. Yeah. That really, really dazzles me, the editors, what they do.
Yeah.
Right. It's a hard job. Yeah.
I'd be dizzy. I think I'd die of craziness trying to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and also just keeping track of all the footage.
Exactly.
It's in however many takes they take, or
make sure nothing's missed, or the continuity things and all that. Tough.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for coming on the show.
And I'll see you soon in June.
Yes.
We're doing battery acid together.
I know. I saw that. That'll be great.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was great catching up with everybody.
Thank you for having me.
And seeing,
thrilled to be here.
And I'm so excited to see Malice and your reenactments and some of your ads whenever they come out. You'll have to make sure that you keep us posted on everything that's
And I think
happening.
before we go, you should put your hand up on one of these shirts, these young ladies, and do some ventriloquism, a demonstration. I just love to see how the voice sounds like.
I agree. I'm kind of...
You don't have to go up.
Yeah, I'll move my mouth.
Who wants to be the dummy?
Alrighty.
I can't wait to see this.
Cool.
So,
tap me
when I tap you, you just move.
Hi, my name is Gina. How are you today?
That's awesome.
I got to practice my voice because, you know,
it's good.
You do. But we should wrap this up. Thank you so much for all of you coming on.
Thank you.
And it's been great talking to you. And this has been Lights, Camera, Action with Allison Howard, a conversation with actors from the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. And thank you for watching. See you next week.